يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. We begin by praising Allah, by thanking Allah, by reminding ourselves we weren't made for this world, and by warning ourselves that we are returning to Him. We are here for a temporary short period of time to obey Allah. الدنيا ساعة فاجعلها طاعة. This world is a flash. To God's way, hold fast. وَالنَّفْسُ طَمَّاعَ عَلِّمْهَا الْقَنَاعَ. And your ego wants more than it has. Tame yours to like what it has. Bismillah, alhamdulillah. Sometimes we don't understand or comprehend this world. It's beyond our comprehension. Sometimes it's difficult for us. And when we look at it in a very small lens, it's never going to make sense. Yesterday, someone gave Shahada, may Allah bless him, Amine. And we shared with him that that moment when he enters Islam is a moment beyond time and space. You have something within you, we each have something within us beyond time and space that defines our essential purpose. Inside of you is something greater than your looks, greater than your bank accounts, greater than everything and greater than anything. And it's your soul, your God-given soul that Allah breathed into us, subhanahu wa ta'ala, in a manner that's befitting to Him. And that is the purpose of our existence. But sometimes we forget. And we come on these Fridays to remember. And so the world, we look around and it doesn't make sense. But when we look up, when we pause, when we look further beyond the 70 years in this life, beyond the space of this earth, of this universe, then it can make more sense. It makes more sense when Allah is part of the equation. But if we try to make sense of it with only our own mind and own faculty, we will lose. We will be from the losers. If we try to make our marriage without Allah, we'll be from the losers. If we try to make our life without Allah, we'll be from the losers. If we try to make justice, make sense of justice without Allah part of the equation, we will never succeed. And so what can we do as we look around? What can we do for the ummah? What can we do? Do we surrender? Do we give up? Do we despair? No, despair is a tool of shaitan. Despair is a tool of the devil. We are Muslims, we will continue to try until the day we die. We will, even if the sun rises from the west, we will still plant that tree, even though it will never bear fruit. Because we will always continue to try. Why? Because we live for Allah. We breathe for Allah. We act for Allah. We walk for Allah. Allah is before everything, after everything, and during everything. And that is the lens in which we live in this life. And that is how we can experience peace and comfort and security and serenity. But sometimes our sight gets clouded. Our inner sight gets clouded, gets obstructed, gets veiled. And so we see with confusion, and we want to remove that veil so we can see with clarity. So our inner sight, our basira, the eyes of the heart, and our basar, our eyes of our physical eyes and our spiritual eyes can see with clarity. We have to see, as sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, أَن تَعْبُدَ اللَّهَ كَأَنَّكَ تَرَاهُ. Worship Allah as if you see Him. And if you don't see Him, know that He sees you. And so we live for Allah and we obey Allah, not obey our nafs. There's enough people obeying their nafs. Your greatest enemy is in between your own two sides. Really? Really? I thought following what I want, I thought that's my salvation and that's my happiness and freedom. No, that's not the correct way. We pursue paradise. We don't pursue our passions. We submit to Allah. We don't submit to our ego. This is a different way. And when we submit and surrender to Allah, when we do Islam, we experience salam, peace and serenity. And some people search for that freedom and happiness in the wrong way. And so today we look around and there's enough people submitting to their nafs, submitting to their ego. And we want to be people that choose Allah over ourselves. That's why we're here today. So we can tell Allah we choose you over ourselves. And when we choose Allah, Allah chooses us. Ihfadullah yahfadk. Take care of Allah, Allah will take care of you. Ihfadullah tajidhu tujahak. Take care of Allah and you'll find Him by your side. وَإِذَا سَأَلْتَ فَاسْأَلِ اللَّهِ. And when you ask Allah. How am I going to ask the created person who the created can't even take care of himself? I'll ask the Creator. I'm too embarrassed to ask the created for something when I can ask the Creator. وَإِذَا اسْتَعَنْتَ فَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ. And when you seek help from Allah. And so we live in this world and we want to struggle and strive and serve Allah. We live for Allah. And the ummah is in a condition that is a difficult place for us. It's difficult for us to see the commercials that come on YouTube. I can't even bear to see the commercials. They're too heavy for me. And so I want to be in almost a willful denial. Astaghfirullah al-azim. But we have an obligation to the ummah. We have an obligation to humanity. I'm not a selfish person. I don't live for myself. I don't live to serve myself. That's not our way. We live to serve others, to take care of others, to take care of Allah, obey Allah, worship Allah. And so how can we do that? In tansurullah yansurkum. Give victory to Allah, and Allah will give victory to you. وَلَيَنْصُرَنَّ اللَّهُ مَنْ يَنْصُرُهُ. And Allah will give victory indeed, surely, to those who give victory to Him. I can give victory to Allah, the all-powerful, the one who says be and it is, the creator of the universe and the stars and the planets and the earth and everything. I can give victory to Allah. How do I do that? By choosing Allah over my ego. By choosing Allah over my nafs. By resisting that argument when I want to continue arguing. By forgiving my husband or my wife when I don't want to forgive. By connecting my relationship with that uncle or cousin or brother that I've severed for so many years. That's how we give victory to Allah. By living for Allah and obeying Allah instead of this ego that commands us to do the wrong. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. Seek forgiveness from Allah, for He is indeed the all-forgiving. Alhamdulillah, Allah is in control. Allah is in control. Whether we understand or we don't understand, Allah is in control. Sometimes we don't see the wisdom in things. عسى أن تكرهوا شيئا وهو خير لكم وعسى أن تحبوا شيئا وهو شر لكم. Perhaps you like something and it's bad for you. Perhaps you dislike something and it's good for you. When we understand Allah withholding and preventing, when we understand that Allah can give us by depriving us or depriving us by giving us. And so we want to care for others and care for the ummah, and all the institution building and all the involvement and all the service and on all the levels and in all the different ways is healthy. But it has to start in here. Because sometimes we think globally. We want to help the world, but I miss Fajr in the morning. I want to help the globe, and I want to take care of everyone far, and I have so much compassion for those suffering around the world. But I can't forgive my neighbor when they mistreat me. Or I can't forgive my brother or my wife or my sister or my mother or my son or my daughter. And so this is an invitation to us. And one time, I was with young men giving a talk about temptation and relationships. And this was about 3 years ago. And it was a group. And I shared with them, I said, every time that one of us or someone looks at a picture that they shouldn't look at, that's why the Al-Aqsa Mosque is where it is. But how are we giving victory to Allah in our actions? Are we protecting our eyes from looking at the haram? Are we protecting our hands from touching the haram? Are we protecting our feet from walking towards the haram? Are we protecting our ears from listening to the haram? That's how we give victory to Allah. And when surely indeed Allah gives victory to those who give victory to Him. Allah doesn't need us. Allah could have made us all Muslim, all angels, all of us worshipping, all of us bowing, all of us prostrating every single moment. But Allah sees us striving and struggling for Him. And we commit to striving and struggling for Allah and to Allah until our last breath. La ilaha illallah until our last breath. Ya Allah, we will obey you until our last breath. And when Allah sees us doing that, and when we continue to take care of each other, and to stop fighting with each other, and stop suing each other, and begin forgiving each other, even if we don't want to, even if we don't want to, even if you don't want to forgive your aunt or your uncle, you say, Ya Allah, for you own me, I don't own myself, I'm going to forgive my aunt or uncle. That brings these metaphysical ripples. That brings victory to the ummah that we don't see and don't comprehend. Allah doesn't need us. Allah, as Sayyidina Maryam gave birth, and after she gave birth to Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, He said, shake the tree. No matter how strong, the strongest man, she shakes a palm tree, the dates are not going to fall. But He said, shake the tree. And when she shook the tree and did this to the tree, the dates fell so she can get the nourishment. And we all have to shake the tree. Even if we don't see the tangible, physical manifestation of that benefit, we will all shake the tree for Allah. We will all resist our temptation. We will all do what Allah asks us to do. We will wake up for Fajr. We will make wudu. We will spend where Allah wants us to spend. We will read Quran. And then Allah will give us victory, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all the Muslims and all the Muslims everywhere in the world. Ameen. May Allah forgive all the mu'mins everywhere in the world. Ameen. May Allah forgive all of us. Allahumma ighfir lil muslimina wal muslimat wa lil mu'minina wal mu'minat. Ya Allah, we turn to you collectively as a ummah. Tubu ila Allahi jami'a. Ya Allah, we turn to you, all of us as a ummah. We turn to you collectively, Ya Allah, so you can be proud of us. We turn to you. We forgive each other. We ask you to forgive us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we ask you to be pleased with us and to be proud of us. Ya Allah, the ummah is in our heart, is in our concern, is in our care. And sometimes we feel helpless, but you are the mighty, the powerful, the wise, the generous, the merciful. And we accept your qadar. We accept your decree, even if we don't understand it. And we look at this life with the lens of the afterlife. We know there's not enough justice to go around in this world. And we look forward to the mercy in the akhirah. We look forward to the akhirah to make all things straight. And Ya Allah, we ask you to take care of the oppressed everywhere, Ya Allah. We ask you to give us victory over our own selves. And we ask you to give us victory over any criminals or any transgressors or any oppressors. Ameen Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ameen Ya Mu'ti Ya Wahhab. Ameen Ya Kabir Ya Azim. Ya Allah, we turn to you, Ya Allah, and we ask you for everything good that Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam asked you for. And we ask you to protect us from every harm that Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sought protection from. Ya Allah, you own us. Ya Allah, we belong to you. Ya Allah, help us love you, Ya Allah. Help us submit to you, Ya Allah. Help us taste the sweetness of Islam, Ya Allah. Help us taste the sweetness of Iman, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ramadan has disappeared, Ya Allah, but you are still with us, Ya Allah. Help us continue to do three things after Ramadan. Help us continue to have a portion from the Quran, have a portion from the Siyam, and have a portion from the Qiyam. Ramadan has finished and went away, but Ya Allah, help us every day read some Quran, and every month fast something, and every day, every night pray at least 2 rak'ahs, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, as a group we are turning to you. We are committing to you and turning to you, Ya Allah, as a group, and we are submitting to you, and we promise to commit to you until our last breath, and we promise, Ya Allah, when we make mistakes, to turn back to you, to follow our mistakes with something beautiful. And we commit, Ya Allah, to fix and connect these severed relationships, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, it's going to hurt us to make that phone call, but we will make that phone call, Ya Allah, and fix that severed relationship for your sake, Ya Allah, for your sake. And we ask you from that, Ya Allah, to give us Jannah, and our parents Jannah, and our grandparents Jannah, and those who have passed away from our family Jannah. Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. And protect our teachers and protect our scholars. Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And send peace and blessings on our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم